welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about how you can increase your metabolism and eat a lot more food, which just sounds like an amazing situation to be in, so hopefully you'll find this video useful. If you haven't yet seen my video on what you're possibly doing that's damaging and slowing down your metabolism, highly recommend you first of all go give that one a watch so you can figure out where you're going wrong, and then once you know where you're going wrong, hopefully this video will help you to make it right. Just in case it was a little while ago since you've watched that video, first of all, just gonna quickly recap over what your metabolism actually is. So essentially, all it is all the biochemical reactions which take place in your body to keep you alive. When it comes to the health and fitness industry, it's usually described as your total daily energy expenditure. And that is made up of your basal metabolic rate, which is the amount of energy that you use at complete rest when you're literally just lying down doing absolutely nothing. Then you've also got your exercise activity thermogenesis, or your physical activity, which is the amount of energy that you use during a workout or during some form of exercise. Then you've got your NEAT, which is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and that is just any extra energy that you use moving from A to B, using your hands, fidgeting, just any other energy you use throughout the day essentially. And then you've also got your thermic effect of food, which is the amount of energy you use during digestion. So in order to increase our metabolism and increase our total daily energy expenditure, I thought it'd be useful to look at each of these in turn. So starting with your basal metabolic rate, the main kind of way to increase your basal metabolic rate is by altering your body composition. So essentially you want to try and build more muscle mass, as muscle is the most metabolically active tissue. So by having more muscle, it will mean that at rest you will be using more energy. In order to build muscle mass, generally the most effective training style is to use hypertrophy training. This is a style of training where you will work in the 8 to 12 rep range for 3 to 5 sets, and the last rep should be around 1 to 2 away from failure. Failure being that you could no longer carry out the exercise in the correct form. As a quick side note, there are also other training styles that you can use just to increase your overall body strength as well as its coordination, and just to diversify your own workouts. I did a sort of detailed IGTV video on that, so be sure to head over to my Instagram, check out that IGTV video if you want to know more about all the different kind of training styles that you can use. But specifically for targeting your metabolism and increasing your metabolism and building muscle, hypertrophy is the way to go. When you're predominantly using hypertrophy as your training style, you want to be working with a progressive overload. So this will mean that each time you revisit the same exercise, you want to try and gradually increase the weight that you use so that your body doesn't get sort of too comfortable with where it's at, and it challenges your body, which will trigger into having to build more muscle and adapt to lifting heavier weights. And also, as you begin to build more muscle, you will need to start to increase your food intake in order to be able to build that muscle. Because in a way, what you're currently eating, if you're sort of just feeling full, satisfied, and you're not sort of seeing any fluctuations in your physique, then you're probably likely to be eating a kind of maintenance level of calories. However, in order to build that muscle, as we're wanting our body to build sort of extra material in a way, we're going to need to give it extra fuel to do that. So if we only supply it with our maintenance calories, which will be enough to just sort of keep everything internally working, as well as providing us with enough energy for our usual day-to-day activities, then there won't be any spare energy to use in order to build muscle. So I'd say when you first start to get into more kind of hypertrophy-based training, then a great way to kind of start is sort of see where your current food intake is at. Trial out sort of a more hypertrophy training style for around 2 to 3 weeks, and then kind of reflect on how you're feeling throughout the day. Have you got enough energy throughout the day? As well as then also in your workouts, do you feel like you've got enough energy and you can put your all into them? If not, then you probably need to increase your calories to start with a sort of small calorie intake of maybe around 100 calories, and then again another sort of 3 weeks later, readdress where you're at. If you feel like you're kind of plateauing with the weight you can lift as well, then that's probably also a sign that you need to increase your calorie intake again. Or if you're starting to feel a little bit more lethargic and tired again, then you may need to introduce another small calorie intake. However, if initially after those first sort of 2-3 weeks of training and you're feeling good, you're feeling strong, you feel like you're fueled, then your current sort of calorie intake is probably sufficient. However, then again, another sort of 3 weeks later, readdress your situation and see if you need to further increase your calories in order to fuel your workouts and also in order for you to be able to lift heavier and actually keep on growing in muscle mass. And also just important to bear in mind that this is a gradual process. If you start seeing results too quickly, then you've probably changed up something too drastically, and you want to take this as a long-term approach where you just gradually increase the weight that you use, gradually increase your calories to go along with that, as that's when your body will have enough time to properly adapt and it will become a long-term sustainable solution. So that's kind of it for our basal metabolic rate. Now if we turn our attention to the exercise activity thermogenesis or physical activity side of it, as you sort of get further along with your hypertrophy training, you will be able to lift heavier and heavier, and as you're lifting heavier, it will exert a higher stress load on your body, meaning that you're likely to be using more energy in your workouts. And not only will the weight that you're using increase, but also as you build muscle, your body mass is likely to increase, which means there's more of you to move about as well, which requires more energy as well. So during your workouts, you're gonna increase the energy demands by increasing the weights that you're using, as well as then increasing your own muscle mass, further increasing the energy demands of your workouts. Also, as you kind of gradually increase your calorie intake and your body adjusts to that intake, you'll probably feel more fueled and more energized for your workouts as well, meaning that you can put a lot more energy into your workouts, and as a result, you'll end up using more energy during your workouts, increasing your exercise activity thermogenesis. As for your NEAT or non-exercise activity thermogenesis, like with your exercise activity thermogenesis, as you do build that muscle and increase your own body weight, there's more of you to move about. So even just sort of moving from A to B, there's more of you to carry around. You'll have more muscle to move and work with, meaning that even in just your day-to-day activities outside of your workouts, you'll also be using more energy. Also, as you sort of gradually increase that food intake and you sort of have more energy, you might find yourself sort of fidgeting a little bit more. You might feel like you've got more energy to take the stairs instead of the lift, and you'll start making these kind of subconscious choices, which again will end up increasing your NEAT and using more energy overall. Then when it comes to your thermic effect of food, I feel like this one's probably going to be quite obvious, but as we are increasing our food intake, it means there's more food to digest, meaning we will end up using more energy digesting that food. So overall, your energy expenditure on digestion will also increase. Also, as your food intake increases, it will mean that your protein intake increases. And protein is particularly the thing which is a little bit harder to digest sometimes, so that will essentially increase the energy demands for digestion as well. So overall, by sort of getting into more kind of weight training, doing hypertrophy training, gradually increasing your muscle mass, gradually increasing your food intake, all of our factors that feed into our total daily energy expenditure will increase, and therefore overall your total daily energy expenditure will increase. Meaning that even at rest, and even if you take a break from exercise, say for 1 to 2 weeks, because you've already got a higher muscle mass, it means that you'll be burning more energy at rest, meaning that you essentially can eat more food because you still need to fuel that muscle, you still need to fuel your daily energy requirements despite not doing a workout. And also essentially your body will adapt to sort of having that much food, that even when you take a little break from exercise, your body will still kind of be expecting that to keep everything ticking over and working as it should be. So hopefully taking this approach and taking it as a long-term sustainable approach, you'll start to feel more energized, you'll be able to eat more food, and just overall hopefully you'll just feel better in your day-to-day life as well. So that is all I kind of wanted to cover for this video. Hopefully you have found it insightful and interesting in some way. Smash a big thumbs up on it if you have. Also, if you have any further questions, then let me know down below in the comments, or you can also DM me on Instagram or Twitter as well. All my socials are always linked down below in the description. If you did like this video and would like to see more of my content as well, then be sure to click on that little red subscribe button down below, as it would mean so much to me if you could do that, as well as tapping on that notifications bell so that you're notified whenever I upload, and I'll be sure to see you very soon with a brand new video. Bye!